Alright, here we are. Sorry for that delayed start. I was a little confused as to why it started late. I was click and go, but YouTube was showing me that the signal was not being broadcast. But here we are, once again, halfway through the top 20 patterns for the beginner. How about that? This is all included in the Hareline Dubbin fly tying kit. Continuing on of our series. What got me going on this was, once again, this was a little project we got going for my Project Healing Waters fly tying group. What we did is we got a kit out to each and every one of them in my program, and they should be hopefully tying along with these videos and the book at their own pace. So I'm getting these videos recorded as a live stream tying series. So welcome if you're just joining. Thank you for coming back if you've been tagging along. Question, comments, concerns, be sure to leave those in the comments below. Appreciate your support. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. That's always good juju, and it helps the YouTube algorithms figure things out. So anyways, this is Darian's Kool Cat Soft Hackle, halfway point. We're going to be using the size 12 Nymph wet Nymph hook, black 8-aught Veevus. The tail is going to be that Hungarian Partridge feather. We've already worked with that. We also have a body with Peacock Herl. We've already worked with that. Copper wire for some ribbing, that Caddis green ice dubbing again, and some more Hungarian Partridge feather for that soft hackle. So let's go ahead and slide on over to the bench and get this started. What's nice about this kit is a lot of these materials are getting recycled, reused. You're seeing how you can take a single material and apply it across a couple of different platforms. So let's go ahead and get our hook in the vise. Again, we are using the size 12 wet Nymph hook. Right? We're tying a wet fly here. Alright, and for this one we're using our black thread, black 8-aught. Let's see, there we go. 8-0, what do you know? Alright, we'll start our thread about an eye's length behind the eye. Eye. El Capitan. We'll start that and secure that down. Trim off that tag end. And we're going to advance our thread all the way to the rear, laying down a little thread base. Be mindful of that tip of that hook. As always, nothing will break that hook or that material faster. Alright, Hungarian Partridge. Look at this fun little one. And I'm going to go ahead and use the lighter color. You got a whole bag of these feathers, so you're going to have to dump that whole bag out. Kind of pick through and sort through and find the one you like. So what I'm going to do, just to get everything out of the way, let's just strip that fuzz out. We're done with that. We don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and isolate some of the barbs off to the side, perpendicular, lining up the tips. Get a nice tight pinch on that. Carefully peel those off. I'm actually going to save the other side of this feather for the second fly we're going to tie. Alright, so we've got this nice little barred bit of hackle. We're going to measure this out about a half a hook's length, sticking out of that back end. One soft wrap to capture it. Let's go ahead and give that a little look-see-loo. See how that is. If we want to pull it out a little bit, now's your opportunity. Just about right there. Keep it on top, and then we'll just wrap forward, securing that all the way in. Alright, get about to that halfway point. Find this wonderful medium copper wire. 20 yards of it. How long will it take you to go through 20 yards of copper wire? Took me a little while. Let's go ahead and start wrapping that in front to rear. I like to keep it on the near side of the hook. And there we go, nice and tight. All right, Peacock Herl. There we go. We're going to take some of our strung Peacock Herl. This is a 5 to 7 inch, kind of measured out. Other bags you'll see, he'll say how many ounces. That's how many ounces come in that bag. So I'm going to find one. And where's number 3? 3 Peacock Herl. And go ahead and give them a slight tug before you tie them in. If they're going to be brittle and break, it's better to have them be brittle and break in your fingers, not on the fly. Right, go ahead and tie this in. Tips forward. Couple of locking wraps. And you can either cut or break those off. If they're nice and stout, you're going to want to trim. Continue our thread wraps forward. Right at about that 1/3, 2/3 point. I like that. Let's grab our Peacock Herl. We'll twist that. I like to twist. Chubby checker. Let's do the twist. You'll find that sweet spot. And by twisting it also strengthens because they're all hugging on each other. Be mindful, be super mindful of the tip of that hook. The tip of that hook doesn't care how important that Peacock Herl is to this operation. It will just break it off real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Take your time. Twist and wrap, twist and wrap. That looks good right about there. We'll hold our Peacock Herl up and to the right. With our left hand, we'll take that bobbin, pass it over a couple of times. And a couple of wraps right in front, just to make sure that's locked down nice and secured. Trim off our excess nice and close. We'll advance our ribbing forward now. We'll do that as in a series of counter wraps. Peacock Herl is quite fragile, but there's something absolutely magical about it that drive fish bonkers. Alright, we'll hold that right there, up and to the right. Give that a nice clean cut. Alright, on to our Thorax. Again, we're going to be using this ice dub. It's Caddis green. Boy, you want to talk about something sparkly. This is it. A little dabble dubbus. A little bit on your thread. We'll make a nice little tight dubby noodle. We're going to make a nice little bulky Thorax right there. We're leaving a little bit of room behind our head. We don't want to crowd the eye yet, because we still have to tie in our soft hackle up front. Okay, here's my soft hackle. Let's go ahead and prepare this. We'll strip the fuzz off. Just like so. Big on. Alright, we're going to tie it in by the tip. So we need to isolate that tip. just like that. That's what we got going on. Right where that V connects, we're going to tie it in top side up or out, however you want to look at it. Beautiful. Trim off the tip. Check your watches. Let's synchronize up. It's hackle time, although it may be soft. Okay, as we carefully wrap, we're just going to take 2-3 wraps or so. So we want to keep these barbs fanned out towards the rear. Finish that off just like that. Okay, hold that stem up and to the right. Couple of wraps behind it. Get some tension on it. And do one wrap in front. I'm going to park my thread behind the remainder of that little stem. Look at those hackle pliers, just get rid of that tension. We're going to come in nice and tight. Trim off that quill. And we got a couple of fibers facing forward. They're kind of dancing to the beat of their own drum, and that's okay. We'll fold those back. And we're going to just lightly wrap over top of those. Getting us a nice clean head up front. And don't wrap too much. You don't want to over wrap because then you'll over bulk your head of your fly. Come in with a nice whip finish. 1, 2, 3. I like that. Boy, oh boy, that is fantastic. I can see why this is in the top 20 patterns. Little dab of head cement up front, and we're going to call this one good. Little dab. This is that water-based head cement. It dries clear. It really absorbs in there. You can almost just watch it just disappear and soak right into that head, which is a good thing. That's great. You really want to watch that soak in. All right, questions, comments, concerns? Leave them in the comments. Hey Josh, thanks for tuning in for this one live. Josh says these ones are going to be a challenge. It's crowding the eye that he has to work on, not break the hackle. Exactly. Absolutely. So when you first start, we're going to go over this one again. I'll just set this sample off to the side. The key is where you start your thread and leave yourself the visual reference point. So once again, we are using the size 12. A little baggy out. Up at the bottom, size 12 nymph hook. Getting down towards the end of these. Thread, we're going to be using our 8/0. 8 is great. What do you say? 8/0, what do you know? Alright, so here we go. We're going to start our thread that eye's length behind the eye. Right? Start there, and that is going to be my point of no return. If we look at our book as a reference, they refer to it as the no tie zone. The no tie zone, zone. Anyways, as long as we don't cross that point of no return, as I refer to it, or the no tie zone, right there, until the very, very end, that's how we set ourselves up for success. Now, as much setting up as we do for ourselves, as we all know, things kind of always happen. Murphy's Law is very applicable to the fly tyers bench. So we'll keep working our thread all the way to the rear. We're going to grab our Hungarian Partridge. Look at this, we're going to grab that same little section. Pull it off to the side, give it a tight pinch, and just peel it off. About a half a hook's length. Measure that out, set that down. We're going to do one soft wrap to capture that. Just make sure that's where we want it. Then we'll continue adding our locking wraps forward, securing that material. Okay, we're right at about that halfway point. We'll get our medium copper wire. We'll tie this up. Just set it down at an angle. A couple of soft wraps to capture it. Straighten it out if you need to. And we'll tie it in on the side of the hook, working our way from the front to the back. I like to give it a little bend every now and then just to make sure we got it right where we want her. Set that off to the side for meow. And we're going to find our Peacock Herl. Let's get 1, 2, and number C. 1, 2, 3. 3 Peacock Herl. Kind of match up the tips. We're going to tie it in tips forward. Don't be afraid to brush these up a little bit with your fingers. Tie them in tips forward. A couple of locking wraps. And we can either just break or cut those off. Work our thread forward about to that 1/3, 2/3 point. We'll start twisting this Peacock Herl. It's kind of like twist it almost like you do a dubbing. But we're going to twist it forward. And that'll help it really want to stick to the shank of the hook. And if you're not going to get a good twist on it, just do the best you can. Here we go. Once we're away from that tip of that hook, then we can kind of step on the throttle a little bit. But it's no race. Nice close touching wraps. That's what we're after here. Work our way up to that 1/3, 2/3 point. We're going to come in with that Caddis green ice dub for our thorax. Hold that material up and to the right. Switch hands. A couple of wraps. Very nice. Trim off our excess, and then we're ready to start wrapping forward with our ribbing. We're going to do these as counter wraps. That was my elbow. Don't worry about that. I'll be fine. Let's go ahead and open spiral. Like I said before, there's something kind of magical about Peacock Herl and its fishability. Let's go ahead and secure that. Still leaving plenty of room up front. grab our Caddis green ice dub. 1 each. A little small pinch of that. Less is more. We'll get that dubbed on, make our little dubbing noodle. And it's a one-way twist. Pinch and twist, pinch and twist, pinch and twist. Alright, let's go ahead and build our thorax up. I just went back into that body just a little bit. And I'm keeping that eye's length behind the eye. And that's where my thread is going to park, right there. Eye's length behind the eye. Alright, one last time. Get our Hungarian Partridge. Now this one is a little bit more tan. I like it. Let's go ahead and just strip off the fuzz, the fluff. Get it out of the way. We're done with you. Be gone. Alright, little pinch right here. Grab it by the tip. We're looking for sparse here. We don't want this to be too bulky up front. We're not doing our hackle, 20, 30 wraps up front. We're taking 2 to 3 wraps. And tie it top side up. Let's go ahead and trim off that tip. Be smart and methodical of your wraps. Don't have to go bananas. If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. If you do that, you're going to end up with a big messy head. So, it's hackle time. Let's go ahead and do this. Just because I got big old fat fingers, we're going to grab that nice little handle, fold those barbs back. Take your time. Keep it nice and tight. I'm just going to let it ride all the way out. Alright, we'll hold that up. Couple of wraps on the back side, one up front. And if I park that last wrap, just kind of set it off to the left. It's not going to jump off while I trim, or until it'll jump off no sooner until after I trim that off. But we can be careful. Alright. Fold that back nice and easy. And the size of my head, I mean, it's basically the thread's width. Whip finish. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3. Nice and easy. Nice and tight. Go ahead and trim this off. And we'll add a little dab of insurance policy. They included Loon Outdoors water-based head cement. And every time I go to use this, I give it a good shake. Storeroom temperature, do not freeze. Da 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 da. Anyways, let's add a little dab of glue. I like to put it load it up right on the bodkin. Touch it to the thread and watch it soak right in. Ooh, that's nice. So how about that? I am actually quite a fan of this pattern. I don't think I've ever tied this before. I don't think I've ever fished this pattern before. But boy, it looks hot as heck. I'm going to throw this out at my little secret pond and see what we come up with. Let's see, Jessica Husingfeld tuned in. She said she loves Peacock Herl. We love Peacock Herl. We know how good it is. So, all right. There we have it. That is the Darian's Kool cat. Soft Hackle. Kool and cat are with the letter K there, you know. Outstanding. That was fly number 10 of the top 20 patterns for the beginners. How about that? Up next, let's see, we got TP's Little Nymph Thing. That's what it's called, I kid you not. Page 36 in the book. That's going to be on deck next. Probably not tonight. Probably tomorrow morning. If you're watching these as they're coming out. If you're watching this in 1,000 years from now, what we did is we recorded this in a series for my Project Healing Waters participants that I'm just excited to be involved with. So, not sure why that light keeps flickering, but anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, happy tying, everybody. Yeah, sure, you betcha. Tight lines. Peace.